For years, marketers have optimized to get attention, get seen, earn the click, drive the visit. But increasingly, buyers are making these decisions before any of that ever happens. AI assistants are summarizing vendors, recommendations are narrowing down options, and LLMs are becoming the new layer between buyers and brands. The challenge isn't simply creating more content, it's whether organizations are built to adapt as discovery itself changes. The challenge isn't just getting discovery, and it's that organizations are still operating with workflows, systems, and team structures designed for a very different intent. Today, we're going to talk to Lisa and Katy about how AI and LLMs are changing how marketers manage discovery and how their systems adapt to this changing market. I'm excited about this conversation today. I'm going to start with you, Lisa. Webflow talks a lot about becoming AI native. What does that actually mean in practice? What's changed about how your team operates today that wouldn't have been possible 2 years ago?
I think it's a great question. Not just Webflow, but we're seeing marketing teams have to really embrace agentic discoverability. So you could do simple things from my team, which we've automated a lot of our outbound, we've automated a lot of our conversion funnels and stuff, but when you look at a web presence or a modern marketing team, they have to now create content that not only delights a human, but also is structured for an LLM, because otherwise you'll lose your audience. A year ago it was 1% of traffic was coming from LLM, and now it's almost 20%. And it's going to jump to 40%. And people are using LLMs to make those decisions. And so in order to show up, you have to have not only a web presence, you have to be in forums, you have to have articles, you have to have content in multiple surface areas. And the content needs to come from your website, and it has to be structured for the LLMs. However, we are finding that the creative elements are what is really delighting the humans. And so we're seeing that the human creativity is not just as important as your structured content for the LLMs, but it's actually becoming more important. And so I think modern marketing teams are really having to adapt to that. And that's why I think art history is a hot new major now, because that creating the taste, the things that really delight humans, is going to be, I think, more important now more than ever. Wow. I think it's table stakes that your content is structured in a way that LLMs will see it. But marketing teams just aren't there yet, but they're getting there.
It's a process, getting it. And Katy, looking across your clients, who's making the leap from using AI as a tool to redesign how marketing operates, and what are they doing differently?
Yeah, I think it's very much a spectrum, kind of to Lisa's point. There's a lot of learning still going on in terms of what good looks like. So clients that we're seeing that are really leaned in are leveraging AI to help inform their operating model rather than just a sort of productivity play. So that means they are not thinking of AI as how does it solve this specific task for this problem right now. They're thinking about what should this process be looking like if AI is present across the whole flow. And that's having an impact where we're seeing it work really well on how they're structuring the teams that they are managing. So teams that are built less reliant on kind of their function and more for outcome. So we're reflecting it ourselves at WPP. We're across kind of clients that are looking at brand, demand, digital, all of those different sort of siloed functions are now becoming much more integrated with AI as the connector. So that's the coordinator that's doing the analysis, that's keeping the kind of data flowing across the teams to deliver the outcomes. And I think fundamentally thinking about building not just prompts, but systems. So again, it's thinking about not having a single marketer in the team that is building an agent for a specific project, but actually thinking about what is the long-term outcome for the business, and then creating workflows, knowledge bases, governance for those sort of systems that can be then scaled across the operations. And that's where we're really seeing it work its hardest for the marketing structure that we're working with on the client side.
So Lisa, you talk a lot about skills and different tools, and you're talking about the structure and how folks are bringing those teams together to operate. So back to you, Lisa. Marketing has traditionally operated in campaigns and moments. AI seems to require continuous adaptation. How does that change the way marketing teams and agencies work together?
I was talking to a bunch of CMOs about this topic, like as I was prepping, and one of the things is like marketing's really having like this creative renaissance, right? CMOs stepped into a position, especially private equity-backed companies, where they started managing spreadsheets. They started managing demand gen, top of funnel to lower funnel, the last touch attribution. Like this became their job, and that's not the job that they really signed up for. And now we're seeing it sort of, AI can handle all of that. And now they're really digging into the creative side of things, but they're not exactly sure how to manage that process, where agencies get the bird's eye view of all the clients that they work with, and they can aggregate these best practices and almost become their own operating system to inform the brands.
Oh, wow.
And I'm a true believer, having working with agencies over 20 years, that the agency is going to be our best guide in what is the spectrum going to look like, not for what's now, but what's next. Because they've been doing AI for years, right? You look at WPP, you look at others, they've been preparing for this moment for years. They're so far ahead of most brands. And I think they will serve as the guide for what's next.
As you go forward. And same thing for you, Katy. How are you seeing it from the agency's perspective?
Yeah, I love that response. I agree. I think I'm really excited about it because for me, it's the AI kind of phenomenon, or maybe not a phenomenon, it's here to stay, but it's sort of changing marketing from kind of like a series of events and campaigns, to your point, to more of a kind of continuous ecosystem for learning. So for me, I'm passionate about that because it means we're thinking about more always-on campaigns and how we are using all of our touch points to continuously inform our audience. So it's deepening that connectivity with our real like strong partners, I think, on the client side, because it's us not working with them so transactionally. So it's sort of traditionally brief, campaign, report, kind of learn, iterate. Whereas now I think it's more the always on signals, gives us an insight, we make an action, we learn, we evolve, and it's continuous and it's kind of an ongoing evolution. So where I can see agencies adding most value to clients, hopefully, is around not just the sort of speed and volume of productivity and whether that's content or execution, but it's actually about helping, to Lisa's point, embed those frameworks, like I said, about the marketers that are creating knowledge-based governance for kind of like broader operational scale. And it's us having that sort of bird's eye view to help clients do the same and build those systems for the long term as opposed to sort of project by project.
Awesome. So you talked a little bit about that, but as the agency model, how does it evolve when AI can increasingly handle the execution?
Yeah.
And what becomes most valuable in that agency-client relationship?
Yes, it's a really good question, and it's not the first time I've been asked that question. So I think AI, it doesn't reduce the value of agencies, it just changes what clients are looking for and therefore where they see most value from that relationship. And I think when kind of execution and production is delivered in abundance, which obviously AI can facilitate, sometimes that judgment or context can be lost, and I think that's where the human partnership and relationship is really critical. So I think agencies are building kind of deeper partnerships with clients. We're kind of sharing best practice and use cases and helping to drive forward. We're unlocking, I think, AI can deliver the kind of execution. Sometimes it makes mistakes, but in general, it's sort of a volume game. I think what's important now for agencies is thinking about the critical thinking, the human insight that still builds on the creativity, the strategic direction, and also the sort of infrastructure and governance of what a new marketing ecosystem in this always-on continuous learning world should look like. So yeah, I think it's about connectivity and joining the dots across all.
Well, that human touch is still a critical
Human
piece, even when you have the
Even
agent,
more so.
right? Even more so.
Yeah.
That's right. So, Lisa, if agents are increasingly, helping create and optimize and distribute marketing, what does it actually mean to make AI adapt to your brand? And I'm sorry, rather than forcing the brand to adapt to AI.
Well, so if you look at modern brands, right? Like we went from a web that was static to dynamic to personalized. And I think what's next is it will become alive, right? It will be always living. It will be self-healing because I heard just yesterday, if you're not showing up in AEO, right, it's broken. So you need to heal it, right? So it'll become self-healing. It'll be always adapting and it'll be keep going. However, the agents need governance, as Katie said. And governance increasingly is coming up in almost every conversation I have. Like, how do you have governance with utilizing all the things that AI can come? And I think that that's where agencies are very important. I think platforms that have governance built in are very important. And I think realizing that the next stage of the web is something we don't know. Right? There's people already working on, okay, what comes after AI?
That's right.
And this kind of theory of the alive web is, what I see is coming, and that's what we have to get prepared for.
That's right.
And if you operate on your own to do that without an agency's help, you're not getting the benefit of all of their other clients that are trying to solve the same problem that they've been trying to solve for years. So I think that balance of that ecosystem is going to be extremely important going forward for this next evolution.
Absolutely, absolutely. And same question back to you, Katie.
Yeah, I think it's, I think governance, obviously, I've already talked about that. But so I suppose for us, we're talking to clients around the fact that AI is very effective. We know it can sometimes make mistakes. But the danger, I think, that we have is that it can almost make, it's this homogenization of output, and it can make brands kind of critically undifferentiated, which is a challenge because we're all, if we're putting in the same inputs, getting the same outputs, the context that I mentioned before is missing. So I think it's really important that across all of your sort of assets, digital and to an extent physical, you are showing up consistently with and teaching the AI what your brand is, what it stands for, what the values are, what you're good at for the right audiences, and making sure that then the AI can be an extension of that, as opposed to the AI making up what your brand is saying through different siloed of sources of information. So yeah, I think we talk a lot at WPP around kind of the connectivity across your earned, shared, owned and paid, and increasingly that is so important that brands are showing up consistently, they have a definitive voice, they're kind of aligning that consistently across all of their comms. Like obviously it shows up differently, in B2B it's complex, buyers want different things at different times, so there's nuance, but it has to be a consistent message. Yeah, and I think so it's working all your assets as hard as possible, and a major underutilized assets for most clients at the minute that's been coming up a lot this week is your employees. So they are your biggest sort of brand driver in terms of their own specialisms, their own skill sets, their own voice, their own lived experience of your brand. So I think it's just, there's a lot of potential, but getting it all right is still requires the governance.
And one of the things is, don't change your brand for AI, right? AI is just another consumption point. And I love the point about your employees. What you want to do is amplify your brand across as many touch points as you can.
That's right.
And you're right, your employee base is now, they're all creators.
Yeah.
And it used to be, you had rules about who could share what and what what you could do in social and all of that. But if you enable them, even with AI tools, you can get your brand voice out there so much more, and that will be consumed by the LLMs. So I think the biggest thing is don't change your brand. Just make sure it's structured in a way where the LLMs can digest it and become discoverable.
Awesome. We've talked a lot about, I've heard about governance, we've talked about employees, we've talked about discoverability. Katie, I'll come back to you. What's one thing every marketing leader should do in the next 12 months? Because this is a process, right? It's an evolution. to help them move from AI experimentation to AI transformation?
Yeah, it's a really good question. I don't think there's a single answer, but I would say what I'm speaking to clients a lot about at the minute is we need to be running AI readiness audits, so analysis of, as I said before, kind of their brand and how it shows up across earned, shared, owned and paid. Are you already appearing? How are you appearing in LLMs? Are you appearing where you think you should be? Doing that audit, doing that analysis and understanding where the gaps are so that you can fill it with the right content, the right creative message, the right channels. So yeah, I think it's definitely an audit of current state of play to then future-proof. And I was speaking to someone from Anthropic earlier this week, and actually we were talking about a 3-year roadmap, and they were like, we don't talk in years, we talk in months. So I think it's ready to sort of test and iterate, fail fast, and then evolve. And that's the mentality of the AI industry.
Okay. And Lisa, same question to you.
It's tough. It's tough. I mean, I think adaptability is going to be the number one thing. What your 3 or 5 year plan was, it's not that anymore. And so learning how to be really comfortable with the uncomfortable rate of change is going to be like the number one skill every marketer is going to have. And they're going to have patience and a little bit of faith, and because the rate of change is so uncomfortable for so many.
That's right.
But it's not going to slow down; it's going to speed up.
That's right.
And we're going to get to that next phase of this. Like today, AI doesn't really look at animations or in real life moments or things like that, but it will.
That's right.
And that's going to be a whole other evolution, and this is going to come in weeks, not months.
Yeah.
Not years. And so I think just getting really comfortable with that rate of change.
Yeah, I love that. Now, like, you always hear, this is probably the worst version of AI we're going to have. It's going to continue to evolve and get better. And your point about being comfortable with the uncomfortable nature of all that transition is key.
Yeah.
So let me close as one theme I've heard consistently today is that AI isn't just changing how buyers discover brands, it's changing what organizations need to do behind the scenes to stay discoverable. The brands that win won't simply just adopt new tools. They'll build systems, workflows, and partnerships that allow them to adapt as quickly as the market and the technology is changing. So Lisa, Katy, thank you so much for joining. Appreciate the time, and thank you for joining us in the conversation today.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Really enjoyed it.
It's been great.
It's been awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.